Hey guys. So, um, I'm here in Portugal, and you may know have been in Brazil for quite some time now, but my visa ran out. So here I am. I can go back in about 4 months, and I will. But I wanted to note a couple things, a couple differences between Portugal and Brazil. So I've spent a tremendous amount of time over the years in Brazil, but I've never been to Portugal. And so, what are some differences? Well, first of all, one, although it's sunny today, here in Lisbon, it has been cold for the last 5 days. I mean, rainy and chilly. Definitely need a jacket. I've got a jacket on now. Um, Number two, the people here are much more introverted than they are in most parts of Brazil, pretty much any part of Brazil. Their personalities are more introverted. Okay? So that kind of friendly, gregarious feeling that you have in Brazil is not really here. They're fine, they're nice people, but it's not the same as Brazil by any stretch. Another thing, this Portuguese itself, of course, the written language is, 98% the same, right? But their pronunciation, they speak really quickly. Well, they speak somewhat quicker, but the main thing is that the vowel sounds, it's like vowels are not first-class citizens in Portuguese words in Portugal. In Brazil, you can really feel they're unhinged, like coração, and so the language has a different feel. It's sort of like in with Spanish when you hear the way the C sounds like th. You kind of have that sense here. But generally speaking, because I'm fluent in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, it really is no problem here, and it's nice. It's nice to be able to speak the language and understand what people are saying. You can turn on the TV, go into the store, ask, solve problems, etc. Now, back on a personal note, guys, I recently I went to a few countries before Portugal. I went to Tunisia, right, in northern Africa, and God, it had been so long since I had been in a country where I'm not fluent in the language. Okay? And they all try to speak French with me. Right? Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. So I learned the numbers and a few different things, but it was just, I guess it's a reminder and a little tip here for any of you who are thinking about spending any serious amount of time in Brazil. You really do need to become somewhat fluent in Portuguese. And I mean more than just the how much does it cost and the numbers. Otherwise, your experience is not going to be very good. I mean, part of the reason my experience in places like Brazil and Colombia are so good is because I'm fluent in those languages. And I've put a lot of effort into developing extemporaneous speaking ability and command over the most important grammatical forms, certainly. And also, there's a minimum of 2,000 or 3,000 vocabulary words. Pick out the most common ones, and you need to really commit them to memory so that you can recognize them. And I'd say the top 500 words of the language, you need to have those on the tip of your tongue, meaning you need to have those committed to rote memory so that you can get them and use them at any moment. And then the whole process snowballs. But it's a good bit of work at the start. So that's kind of a tangent there. It struck me again going from Tunisia, where I can't speak Arabic, I can't speak French, and then and then coming to Brazil. Now here's another point I wanted to note. Look how the streets are here. This is one thing I don't like about Portugal as compared to Brazil. Even in Rio de Janeiro, the streets are big, they're wide. It's not as though everyone's all scrunched up on top of each other. Now, I know this is Lisbon, and it's the biggest city. There's going to be more crowded, but the entire city is like this. I'll be in a cab ride and I'm freaking out that you guys are going to smash into something, right? So I'm going to kind of turn the camera away from them while they're going by. But so that's one thing I notice is that everything's just squished up on top of each other here. I mean, it's just packed, right? So I'm not so keen on that. And I'm really not. And Brazil, especially Fortaleza, oh, come on. Fortaleza is just open spaces, right? There's elbow room. You want to park your car somewhere, it's not like this kind of business, right? Now, don't get me... Now, okay, there's another point. Point number 6. This city is incredibly old. It is just very, very old. It's everywhere you go, just extremely old buildings. So it's kind of nice. I do like that. And I mean, there's a real historical feel. And there's certain parts of downtown where I'm going to turn the phone back up in a second. I don't want to point it in this guy's face. I know people don't like that, so I'm not going to do it. At any rate, the downtown area is just, it feels like it's something out of the 17th century. All the buildings are old. The streets, you can see they're a sort of cobblestone. Again, very different than Brazil. Very different feeling. Let me see here. I had some notes. So at any rate, my visa ran out, but I can go back to Brazil in about four months and 1 week. And so I'm going to probably do that. And in the interim, I'm going to go to Barranquilla, Colombia, and which the weather right now there is just outstanding during this time of year. Just absolutely outstanding. And if you've followed my channel at all, you'll know that I just can't stop talking about how awesome Colombia is, or how awesome Barranquilla is, I should say. So here's another point. We'll call it point 8. I have no idea why Portugal is all the rage. I see all these YouTube channels, these these people who are getting ready to retire, or they're going to work remotely, and it's just Portugal's all the rage. You obviously haven't been to Fortaleza, because it's 10 times better. Well, I don't know if it's 10 times better. I haven't been to all the different places here in Portugal, and I admit it's January, but it's cold. It's winter weather here, okay? Again, it's sunny today, but you can see I've got a jacket on, and it's still chilly today. And the last 4 out of the last 5 days have been rainy and cold, not cool, all right? Fortaleza is always warm, okay? North Brazil is always warm. So I don't know what these people, there's all these YouTube channels, all these people, Portugal's all the rage, how to live there, do this, do that. Well, the Europeans, Scandinavians, people in Italy, they are fully aware that Fortaleza, northeast Brazil, is really where it's at. And that's why you can get nonstop flights direct from Lisbon to Fortaleza. That you normally can't. You can't really get a nonstop flight from Fortaleza to Miami. There was 1 or 2 cities where they used to have a flight once in a blue moon, but nowadays, no. You've got to still go through Sao Paulo. But coming from Europe, see, again, they know where it's at. They know what time it is. They're fully ready to go over and spend time in Fortaleza, because they know it's really cheap. It's got all these benefits. It's just great. So at any rate, I thought I'd give you guys a summary, a recap, what's going on. Ciao.